Alright fellas, here we are back in Pokemon Masters, and before the video begins, I would like to announce that we have the Pokemon Masters EX Awards going on right now. You have until December 30th to submit your votes for the best sync pairs, your favorite sync pairs, a bunch of different criteria, so go ahead, vote, and make your opinion known. Anyway, so this video we're going to be covering Neo Champion Rosa and Meloetta, and seeing how strong this character is, what capabilities they have, and some overall good uses for them. This character is an extremely strong and useful sync pair in a lot of different ways. Mostly their supportive capabilities, though. As implied, she is a support sync pair with Meloetta, with the EX role of Sprint. As we know with New Champion Nate, we got the Field EX role, which was extremely impactful for him. I'm not going to say that the Sprint EX role is extremely impactful for Rosa, but it's definitely good, for sure. It's definitely better than Striker and Tech and all of that. I don't know about Field. Maybe Field would have been better. I'm not too sure, but definitely Sprint is an amazing option, for sure. And she could definitely make probably good use of the Sprint EX role. I don't know if I'll be giving her the EX role or not. I'll have to, test her out and whatnot, but still. Anyway, she's a Psychic Sync pair, but she also becomes Fighting, depending on when she changes to her Pirouette form, and her weakness will also change from Bug when in Aria to Flying when in Pirouette, so keep that in mind. Looking at her stats, she has 679 HP, 311 defense, 314 special defense, and 359 speed when in Aria form. Definitely not bad defensive stats and speed stats, of course, for sure. And then level 150, they get higher, etc. Her stats do not seem to change between Aria and Pirouette, so this is what you're running with. And those are definitely not bad stats, honestly. 200, or over 300 base defensive stats with no EX, no level 150, no EX roll. Those are actually very good, right? Because if you give her the EX, it's plus 40. Level 150, it's an extra plus 15 approximately. So she gains a lot in her stats just from EX alone. And she can look pretty impressive. I mean, if we look over here, yeah, these are some good defensive stats. And then, of course, she has a Master Fair Sync pair. She drops, of course, tomorrow on Christmas, / December 25th. And she will leave, I can't speak, she will leave on January 29th, meaning you've got over 4 weeks to go for this character, about 5 weeks, approximately. So be sure to, obviously, scout for this character if you want her a lot. But if you are very on the fence about this character, for whatever reason that may be, you can wait, of course, until January 29th, which will very likely be getting the data mine the day of January 29th or the day before, around that time frame for the February data mine. So you can, of course, wait, and you have a lot of different times and options when it comes to potentially trying to pull for this character, which is, of course, very generous. So now let's actually go on to her abilities, since we're done talking, for the most part. I'm going to go over her passive skills first, because I feel they are more impactful. Of course, she has Unova Flag Bearer, which is the same Unova Master passive as Anniversary N, so sadly they do not share the stacking ability of their Master passives, because they are both Unova Flag Bearer. But of course, generally you're probably not going to run her with Anniversary N anyway. Probably, but thankfully she is still a very good support. She's got the decent power-up and damage reduction abilities for a maximum 30% power-up and 26% damage reduction for all types of moves, which is not too bad. Definitely not better than like the physical / special types of master passives, but still definitely not bad at all. It's pretty much a free buff, right? So there's that. And then we got Relic Nostalgia as one of her passive skills, which switches between Aria and Pirouette form when the user's attack move or sync move, which includes Relic Song, and the name is successful. She does have Relic Song as her main buddy move, as well as her sync move. So every time your normal buddy move is used or your sync move, you'll be changed between Aria and Pirouette. That's how that works. And then it increases the physical moves next and special moves next of an ally by 1 stat rank when the user changes forms while on the field of play. So you get yourself just pretty much a free +1 physical moves next and special moves next just for using Relic Song or Wonder, which is pretty damn good, right? Definitely very, very nice. Psychic Performance is changed to Fighting Performance whenever she switches between her forms. For Psychic Performance, which is the Aria form, all normal type moves become Psychic type, raises her special defense by 1 when targeting an opponent is successful. When a move targeting an opponent is successful. So it buffs her defense by 1. Targeting an opponent is successful. Will this buff it by 3? Because if you have 3 enemies and it hits all 3 enemies, does that mean it buffs it by 3? Or is it just 1? Either way, it's still good, for sure. I don't know, though. Well, I guess we'll have to test that out. And then we go to the pirouette form, which is the fighting performance passive. Normal moves become fighting and raises her defense by 1 when the move targeting an opponent is successful. So the same as the other one except for physical defense now instead of special defense. So she can buff both of her defensive stats on top of her already good base defensive stats, which is very, very nice. And Entrancing Melody, her final passive, lowers target psychic rebuff by 1 the first time the user uses a move targeting the opponent each battle when it's in Aria form, and lowers target's fighting rebuff by 1 the first time the user uses a move targeting the opponent in pirouette form. So you're able to do AoE Psychic -1 and Fighting -1 rebuff, which is just a free 30% power buff to all Psychic and Fighting type allies, which is very, very strong. And of course you're able to buff your defenses on top of that. She's already able to do rebuff, defensive buffing for herself, and apply physical moves next and special moves next to her allies, as well as have the master passive, and we haven't even looked at her moves. Pretty good. So, looking at her actual moves, for the Aria form, she has Ode to Glory, which is a 2-use move and targets all allies, raises the speed of all allies by 2, unconditionally. By the way, speed support's still really in demand, and this is good. Increases special moves next effect of all allied sync pairs by 2 when in Aria form, and increases physical moves next by 2 when in pirouette form. So, essentially, you just get yourself, by using the Trainer move in Aria form, free +2 special moves next and +2 speed for the whole team, and if you're in pirouette, swap the special moves next for physical moves next. Meaning you can swap between her 2 forms and try and buff whatever type of ally you need to buff. If you're using a special ally, stay in Aria form, use her Trainer move, buff special moves next. If you're in pirouette form, or if you're supporting a physical ally, switch to pirouette by using Relic Song of Wonder twice, or a single time, sorry, and then use her Trainer move there and be able to buff speed and physical moves next. She can work extremely diversely with a lot of characters, which is very, very nice because of all of this. She has Sing when in pirouette form, which is a 1-gauge move, 45 accuracy, and puts the enemy to sleep. You can run like Troublemaker or something as a lucky skill if you want to make full abuse of this, though you actually don't have to, but this is a solid enough ability to actually have quite a lot of use. She's also got potions here, which of course restoring allies' HP by 40%, so not only can you use this on your allies to help recover their HP, you could also use it on her if need be, but you probably won't have to because her defensive stats are going to be so high anyway. She may not take too much damage, but if she does, she's got healing self-sufficiency, which is of course a great mandate to have. And then, of course, her bread and butter, I guess you could say, Relic Song of Wonder, 2-gauge move, special, 100 power, 100 to 120, hits all enemies and is a sure hit move. Activation condition is when the user is not in a pinch, and deactivation condition is when the user is in a pinch. This is why you don't want to fall to low health, because, of course, your Relic Song of Wonder, your main form of doing a lot of things, will then be locked. But, of course, having potions, it's going to negate all of that, which is nice. The move never misses. 30% chance to put the target to sleep, and again, this is AoE, by the way. Not bad. Though I don't know if it's split chance between multiple targets. It could be, because it doesn't state otherwise. Raises the crit of allied sync pairs by 1. Raises one of the following stats of all allied sync pairs by 2 stat ranks at random. Attack, defense, special attack, special defense, speed, accuracy, or evasion. And the same stat is raised for all allied sync pairs. So she goes from being a special moves next and physical moves next god, like let's be honest, that's what she is, speed buffing unit, psychic and fighting rebuff, to then being able to buff crit very consistently and be able to randomly raise all stats at some point. Not bad. Definitely not bad. She's one of these randomized raising ability type of characters, and this is actually not a lot better than you would originally think, in my opinion. Because not only when you use Relic Song of Wonder are you getting these random stat buffs for your team, as well as the crit and 30% free sleep chance and whatnot, you're also initially getting the fighting and psychic rebuff. You're also getting the physical moves next and special moves next for all allies. So not only are you getting all these buffs, you're getting everything else on top of it. This is why this is very, very good. But then if we go to her pirouette form, everything is the same except Sing then becomes Teeter Dance, which then leaves all enemies confused. So if you want to run some confusion strats, some sleep strats, you've got options there. You want to run with special characters and physical characters, you've got options there as well. This character, this Neo Champion Rosa Meloetta, is so diverse in what she can do, who she can run with, and all of her other capabilities. Character is insane, just at 1 out of 5. And in my opinion, I would say that 1 out of 5 is all you need for this character to be extremely self-sufficient and useful. You do not need dupes. I have looked at her grid extensively and have thought about it. You do not need dupes to make this character work extremely well. She is already extremely solid just at 1 out of 5 with no dupes, and she can be very, very useful. Because this character, she buffs physical moves next a ton, special moves next a ton, as well as obviously doing the fighting rebuff, the psychic rebuff, the healing, the randomly raising stats here, Sing for just random sleep if you want it, Teeter Dance for confusion if you want it. Of course, by the way, this is the optimal strategy in my opinion if you're going to run her with certain types of allies. If you're running her with just special characters, you may want to start out using Ode to Glory initially because you get the special moves next turn 1, you get +4 in 2 turns, and then you can use Relic Song of Wonder and instantly get yourself the +1 after that, meaning in 3 turns you get +5 special moves next to your ally, which is very, very good. If you're going for physical buffing, change to Pirouette on turn 1 with Relic Song of Wonder, which will of course give you +1 physical moves next turn 1, and then use her trainer move, and since you'll be in Pirouette form, you'll be able to buff +2 on turn 2, and then +2 on turn 3, meaning you've got +5 physical moves next by the end of turn 3 as well. So, essentially, to sum up, whatever ally you're running her with, you can get them to +5 physical moves or special moves next within 3 turns, aka 1 sync cycle. Then you would use her sync move for support EX, and you could then use your sprint function, however you want to do it, and then your next ally's attack can be +5 boosted physical moves or special moves next, and just rip through your opponent, which is absolutely insane. So yeah, this character's got a lot of great capabilities just at 1 out of 5, but let's go ahead and look at the grid here. Now, let's look at Neo Champion Rosa's grid. So at 1 out of 5, she really has just accuracy buffs for Sing, which is actually quite good in its own right. I actually did not notice these. So these +2 or +20 accuracy nodes here for Sing is quite good, especially if you run Troublemaker 1, you can get some relatively consistent sleep, I guess. Other than that, you get Stalwart, which is not really of note. 2 out of 5, she gets trainer move NPR 1. Absolutely horrible, but that is because it is a very strong trainer move. It is basically just free speed buffs, special moves, and physical moves next, so that makes sense. Trainer move Precision Pals 1, raising accuracy of all allies by 1 when the trainer move is successful. So if you need accuracy buffs, this isn't bad either, +2. But of course, you can already buff accuracy at a random chance here with a Relic Song of Wonder, so probably isn't too worth it to try and pick up, I guess. Natural Remedy to remove status conditions whenever they are first inflicted on the user in battle. Definitely not bad if you get poisoned or something. Potion NPR and Friendman 9 to what is this? Yeah, remove status condition of allied sync pairs affected by affected by the status condition and whatnot. This makes Natural Remedy not useless, but not really required anymore. So really, it's just an either or, I guess. And then Cure to Confusion 1, restoring HP when attacking a confused enemy. Quick Cure to remove flinching, trap, and confusion. And then Teeter Dance, Move Gauge Refresh 2. So really, 2 out of 5 I would not say is valuable because all of these abilities are more, they're solid, but they're not like candy demanding or dupe demanding to make Rosa really strong, because of course she already is in her own right. But of course, if you were to pick up this grid, definitely just get the potion stuff. Precision Pals could be good. Charging Infliction could be quite good if you are running Sing or Teeter Dance stuff, because it will be getting it'll restore your gauge for you. Cure to Confusion is good for some consistent healing on Rosa, so you don't have to use as many potions on her to make sure your Relic Song of Wonder stays active. That type of stuff, right? So really, 2 out of 5 is not really all that crazy, but it could definitely be relatively useful. And then 3 out of 5, obviously the bread and butter, giving her most of her grid abilities here. Go Viral 9, whenever a status condition is affected on an opponent, it becomes the target becomes all allied sync pairs, all opposing sync pairs rather. So this is literally just for Sing. Teeter Dance is already AoE, so Sing is now AoE here, meaning that if you put one enemy to sleep, you put all of them to sleep. Definitely very good if you're going to be running Sing, for sure. But I would say that's not really a necessary ability because a lot of her other capabilities are so strong that really you may not ever want to go for Sing. You can in some scenarios for sure, but really it's not something I would say is a defining factor of all of her capabilities. But of course you definitely can. Building for Go Viral 9 on Sing is not bad. Especially combine that with Precision Pals 1 and accuracy buffs on Sing, not bad. Team move Fizz and special boost up once 9. What the fuck? Increasing physical moves next and special moves next of all allied sync pairs by 1 when the trainer uses a move. This effect can only activate once per battle. So whenever the trainer uses a move, which is just potion or her trainer move, you'll be then getting an extra +1 physical moves and special moves next. Not a bad ability, but definitely not really worth picking up because 1, it only activates once, and 2, it's going to just be another physical moves next / special moves next in the sea of physical moves next and special moves next that she's able to apply. Because she applies them here, and she applies them here, she buffs them a lot. This is just going to be an extra one, right? Because with the rate she already buffs it, this is just another one. It doesn't really make all that much of a difference because she's already so insane at buffing it. Team Sharp Entry 1, this is just for faster crit buffs. If you really need that crit to be at +1 a turn faster, then you can pick this up. But really, you could pick it up for sure, because maybe you want to use Ode to Glory or something and, you know, max crit. You need crit max faster than what you can buff it. But really, again, this is not a necessary ability to pick up. It's just more, it's more quality of life, I guess you could say, for Rosa, if anything at all. Team Stoic 9, 100% chance to raise the defense of all allied sync pairs by 1 when the user's Pokemon uses a move. So Relic Song of Wonder, Sing, or Teeter Dance, you'll be able to buff all allies' defense, as well as Rosa getting her own defensive buffs from whichever passive, the Psychic / Fighting Performance here. So that's not bad either, but again, these are just more defensive utility-based abilities. These abilities are stuff that kind of expands a little bit on what she's able to do. It doesn't, like, bridge the gap to something that she could do a lot better with her grid. It's just something she can already do quite well. She can do it a little bit better, if that makes sense. Because she can already buff defenses from her Relic Song of Wonder. So really, would you need this? Probably not, but of course it is something. She's got Potion, NPR, and Master Healer again for, you know, the 4 different nodes of all of that. Easy Pickings 900% chance to debuff one of the enemy stats at random when attacking a confused opponent by 1 stat rank: attack, defense, special defense, speed, accuracy, or evasion. So she can do random debuffs, which is not bad for sure, but really random debuffs don't help too much against most opponents. These random debuffs, the only type of debuffs that are going to be super impactful are if you are debuffing for fluid fortification purposes, or if you are debuffing for a very specific debuff for raising an ally's, parameters, or not parameters, multipliers, right? Multiplier activation, like Cakewalk, Relentless, not Overpower, yes, Overpower, those type of things, right? But really, these are random debuffs, so they're not going to be nearly consistent at all, meaning if you want defense or special defense debuffs, you're going to be unlikely to get them, at least not consistently. So Easy Pickings is not a bad ability, but really it doesn't fit with her whole kit, and nor is it going to apply too much to your entire team. And then Force Field 9, same as Team Stoic 9, but it is for special defense, so you can raise special defense instead of physical defense. And if you have been paying attention to the grid and my reasonings and whatnot, you will see this is kind of why I don't think that her grid is all that necessary. All of her abilities are solid, sure, but they don't apply anything extra to what Rosa already does. It just kind of takes what she already does, expands it a little bit. It's not something that makes her go from like 0 to 100 or even like 5 to 10. It takes her from, like, let's say Rosa was a 10 out of 10 unit. This would maybe bump her to like a 10.5. Not like a 15 out of 10 or something like that, if that makes any sense, right? That's just kind of how I feel about it. Her grid does not actually impact Rosa all that much. Her main abilities and her main way of usage is not going to change all that much. The only thing that I say really changes a lot with Rosa's grid is that you will now be more willing to go for Sing and try and put enemies to sleep with that, with Go Viral 9, the accuracy nodes, precision pals on the trainer move, that type of stuff. I think that is definitely the most impactful part of her grid is her Sing stuff, but really, do you want to go for Sing instead of buffing your allies' physical moves and special moves next? Do you want to go for Sing instead of doing her trainer move, that type of stuff, right? So, do you really want to do that? And if you do, maybe gridding her for Sing and Sleep is not a bad idea. But if you don't want to do that, then really keeping her at 1 out of 5, saving your candies, saving your gems is definitely the better decision. Because this character, again, as I've stated, is really strong just at 1 out of 5. I'll prove that tomorrow or the 26th. I don't know, because it's Christmas. I don't know how videos are going to go. But I'll prove it sometime whenever I upload my showcases for Rosa, because I will only be using her at 1 out of 5 myself. So yeah, keep that in mind. And if you do want to make a grid for Rosa, really, again, I would just probably go for all of the Sing-related stuff. I would probably go for Charging Infliction. This is probably what I would go for at most. You could obviously go for Trainer Move, Master Healer, or something like that, and NPR there. You could go for that if you wanted to. Really, it's just up to however you want to play, probably. Yeah, you could do this. You could give her a lucky skill of Adrenaline if you want to do a lot of sync countdown combined with a sprint roll. You could give her Troublemaker if you want to, increase your chances of being successful. You could go for, I don't know, Head Start 1 if you want extra sync countdown at the start of battle. You could go for Vigilance, of course, if you need critical hit defensive ability, because she does not have that in her base kit. Whatever you want to do, right? Either way, I think that's my overview for Rosa here and Meloetta. Neo Champion Rosa is an absolutely insane support character. I will be summoning for her tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And I'll be showcasing her and whatnot as well. But do know it is Christmas, so I will be, there will be a delay in videos for sure due to spending time with family and whatnot. So keep that all in mind. But anyway, I hope you all have a nice Merry Christmas. I hope you all have happy holidays. And if you don't celebrate anything, then just have a great day, right? Great day, great week. Celebrate the coming to the end of 2023. And again, by the way, vote for the Pokemon Masters EX Awards. There will be a link in the video posted before this one. There will be a link in the description of that video for the form for you to fill out. Be sure to read it. Be sure to get all the information you need and whatnot. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Yeah, I'll see you all later. I hope you all enjoyed.